Hi, I'm Joe and welcome to the channel. In this micro lesson, I thought I would share 5 reasons why you should learn to play a second instrument. When I was taking guitar lessons in high school, my guitar teacher one time noticed me in a lesson getting a little bit frustrated because I couldn't get this certain technique down. And then he asked me a really odd question. He said, "Joe, do you play any other instruments?" I said, "No, I don't." And he said, "You should really learn to play other instruments." And I first thought to myself, am I that bad at guitar? But that wasn't his point. He knew that I really wanted to be a songwriting major. And he thought exposing me to other instruments would help me become more of a well-rounded musician. And he was absolutely right. So in this micro lesson, again, let's dive into some reasons why that might be. Hey, if you're new to the channel here and you find any value in this video whatsoever, please consider helping me grow the channel by subscribing down below and hitting the like button. All these things help me out and I really do appreciate it. Let's go ahead now and jump into the micro lesson. So reason number 1. I believe that there's certain instruments that are just laid out better to visualize and understand the fundamentals of music. As an example, if we look at a keyboard and we see how the white keys and the black keys are arranged, and if we go to press down like a G chord as an example, we clearly see the 3 notes that make up that triad, G, B, and D. Whereas if I were to play that on the guitar, if I play a G chord here, well, we actually have a lot of roots in this chord. We have the G here, the G in the middle, and the G up top. We also have 2 B's, 2/3, B here, and of course we have the D in the middle. It's really harder for me to visualize kind of what a triad looks like when I'm playing it on a guitar. And the same thing kind of holds true as well. If you were to know the formula for a major scale, which is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, you can clearly see that on a piano. And also you can see the natural rules in music. If you look at all the white keys on a piano, you'll notice that there's 2 spaces where there's no black keys in the middle. And that shows you the 2 natural half steps that happen between the notes B and C and E and F. So learning a second instrument like a keyboard, in my opinion, is a very valuable way for you to pick up and understand the fundamentals of music. And as an added bonus, the more you understand the fundamentals of music, potentially from a different instrument, the more you can apply it to your principal instrument, to the guitar in this case. Number 2, some instruments lend themselves better to understanding rhythm. And the obvious choice here obviously is a drum set, right? But we already get yelled at for playing our guitars too loud, so there's alternatives, right? We can get yourself a drum machine or a MIDI controller like this and pull up drum samples inside of your DAW. Heck, you can even use just a shaker or a tambourine. Just anything else kind of gives you a better idea how to subdivide the beats or play along to music. It really just helps you establish your groove more. And you don't have to worry about your fingerings and things of that nature. You can just focus on having a great, solid, steady rhythm. Also, a bass guitar. A bass guitar is another example of a more rhythmic instrument, and what I like about the bass guitar is that it really forces you also to listen closely to the drums that are happening, because a lot of times the bass pattern will be modeled off of the bass drum pattern. So it really forces your ear to listen in and lock into the groove of things. So a second reason to learn a second instrument, groove, get your groove on. Number 3. A different instrument puts you in a different creative space, especially if you don't know the instrument that well yet. You force your brain to think differently and come up with new ideas. You might even stumble across new ideas, things that you never would have thought of on your principal instrument because maybe you're not as familiar again with your second instrument or the instrument that you're trying to create on. This is also a great way to break up musical ruts that you get into. You may find yourself on the guitar playing the same things over and over again, things of that nature. Switch to a different instrument, and all of a sudden, again, you're in a different creative space to try something new and different. Okay, number 4. I really believe that this will make you a more well-rounded musician, especially in a band or song context. You know, you'll be listening now to the entire instrumentation for a song as an example because you're more aware and zoned in on exactly how those instruments sound and how they work. So as an example, you might be coming up and trying to create your own guitar lines for a song, and you know now, hey, maybe I need to play in a different register because the keyboard is playing in the same area that I am, and I want to stand out or fill up the frequency range of the song differently. Also, by learning a second instrument, you can borrow things that you learned from it and apply it to your first instrument. So you can come up with organ lines. organ lines on your guitar or whatever. You could just borrow from all these different instruments. So again, learning a second instrument really, I think, helps you become a more well-rounded musician. And also when you're crafting songs and writing guitar parts for a song, you're really going to find that you're going to play things that serve the song more because you're thinking of the band as a whole and not just as a guitar player playing one part. All right, the last reason, number 5, the 5th reason why you should learn a second instrument. It's just a lot of fun. And especially it's a lot of fun when you pretend that you're going to be like the best bass player in this song or the best drummer in this song, just to put on that hat and do something different. And isn't that the point? The point is when we're creating music, we should be having fun and we should be able to express ourselves. And by doing something and maybe in a different way than you're used to on just a single instrument, go ahead and have some fun by trying and exploring these second instruments. So there you have it. There's 5 reasons. Number 1, maybe some instruments are going to be laid out in a way that's going to help you fundamentally understand music better. Number 2, maybe some instruments are going to lend themselves to helping you get better at your rhythm playing. Number 3, it'll put you in a different creative space. Number 4, it's just going to help you become more of a well-rounded musician. And number 5, it's going to be a lot of fun. It really will be a lot of fun to explore these things. Now, where do I recommend get started? Do I say, hey, go ahead and jump on Reverb now and buy a ton of gear? No, I don't want you to buy a ton of gear. Use what's at your disposal. Maybe you have some friends or family members that have instruments that they're not playing anymore that you can just borrow just to see if you even like those instruments. Or, hey, you can go ahead into the spoon drawer and pull out 2 spoons and just start clacking along to a song and making a rhythm track with that. Be creative. You don't have to invest in tons of gear. The point is, think about getting started learning a second instrument just to become a more well-rounded and better musician. Thank you for watching another micro lesson. Hey, if you found any value again in this video, please do me a favor and consider helping me grow the channel by subscribing down below or hitting the like button. It really does help me out and I'm very grateful for your support. As always, I wish you a happy day.